Hey, everybody, it's Doug Green, and I'm the publisher of Technology Reseller News. And I'm very pleased to introduce Pat Saavedra of Rabbit Run. Pat, thank you for joining us today.
Doug, it is absolutely my pleasure. I've been looking forward to this podcast for many reasons. And I'll tell you one of the main reasons. I just love your podcast. I've been
Well,
watching them throughout the channel. You go to shows and you're interviewing everybody. And I thought, gee, I gotta get on one of those, you know?
I'm glad. I'm delighted that we're doing this, and I'm also excited about the topic because we've been reporting an SD WAN for a lot of people. SD WAN so necessary now more than ever with our huge hybrid workforce, with a incredibly giant edge, and so on, and all the security issues. But it's been my impression, as just someone who observes and doesn't do, that SD-WAN's really hard for anybody who's not an enterprise, for anybody who's trying to sell to anybody who's not an enterprise. But you guys have overcome that.
In fact, you just hit on the spark of the foundation of Rabbit Run. It's exactly that. You got it. I've provided a short little channel partner intro deck, um, and maybe we can go through that. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. So, Doug, again, thank you for having me, and for everybody watching. Um, it is my pleasure to introduce Rabbit Run Technologies. I am the founder and CTO of the company. I started the company about 6.5 years ago with a simple vision to provide a small business SD-WAN technology at prices and with features that the small and micro business markets can afford. And in my mind, there simply was a massive gap in the market and still is to this day. And and that's what we do. We fill this gap. And the gap, I describe it as the following. It really is like a square peg, round hole kind of thing for SD-WAN for small and micro businesses, because these small businesses, they need just as much as of the large enterprise features and benefits without the expensive overhead and cost, and especially capex. It's very difficult for them. I mean, they're competing with larger companies and they need it. Now, you take that and look at it from a channel perspective. We need this to be fully managed as a service offering that MSPs can just simply sell right away, right out of the gate. And that was our goal, and that's what we created. And if I just briefly on this slide, I'll just look at the markets. Three things stick out for me. There are over 30 million small and micro businesses in the USA alone. And if we look at just the retail point of sale side of that, there's about 1 million locations out there. Now, these are 2022 numbers, but these are only growing. And over the last few years, we see a lot more activity in copper pots replacement. Well, that falls into this as well if you're a property manager or a medical location and things like that. And so that's sort of the background of Rabbit Run and our focus and some of the market. In my opinion, we live in a site to cloud world. No matter if you're an extremely large enterprise or a small business. In fact, even the largest of enterprises with thousands of sites, they break down their common denominator footprint is that of a small site. And so we kind of address those as well. But it is site to cloud. We no longer have to, channel and trombone traffic back to headquarters and back to a single, private cloud and things like that. It's just so much more efficient to hang a left on that broadband connection and get to your cloud. These ISPs have done a fantastic job of getting you to these public cloud infrastructures, but what's lacking is some of the SD-WAN components. And so being in the site to cloud world and having to rely even more on your internet uptime and always being on and addressing what is the real cost of an outage when I'm down, my point of sale transactions aren't going through, my calls aren't getting through, et cetera, et cetera. Um, that's what we address, right? We really do need something that takes away the upfront costs, expensive support, calls cannot drop on these transitions, and point of sale must keep going. Okay. So Doug, this is exactly how we do it. We keep businesses online with our affordable as a service SD-WAN. This is a fully managed service with alerts and everything you would need out of a managed service to help MSPs sell it immediately out of the gate and obtain immediate ROI. And how we do it is we can fail over from one broadband or two broadband connections being load balanced on to our multi-carrier 4G LTE type service. And we dynamically switch between all the different cellular carriers in your territory, like AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, or if you're in Canada, Bell, Rogers, and TELUS. We do this without dropping live voice calls, video meetings, and your point of sale transactions, well, they just continue. For MSPs that are interested in delivering this type of enterprise grade SD-WAN service at small business prices, you may find that this is a new revenue opportunity. You know, I like to tell the story of, in fact, it was one of my partners who told us the story. He said, Pat, I get the call anyway. So what does that mean? He says, well, I'm selling them a voice product, and no matter what we do, no matter what internet service they put in place, when there is an issue, they're calling me as if I am their ISP. And I'm just providing phone services to them. And so with that in mind, we will arm you with everything you need, charts, bandwidth, MOS scores, etc., in order to make that call on behalf of or pass this information to the end customer so they can call the ISP, because we all know you sometimes need that evidence for them to even, pay attention to that. There's, your broadband circuit is having issues with not their voice service. That's kind of the best way I can put that. This is a high margin opportunity for partners. You should see immediate ROI because there are no upfront fees for equipment. In fact, once you become a partner, valued partner of ours, you go into our order portal, put in the customer's information, they get all set up in our portal under your realm, your domain as an MSP, and we will charge first month, last month, and shipping. That's it. The next bill is on month 3, pro rata the install date. Lots of help for engineering and support. In fact, we have a pick, pack, and ship facility out of Texas where we ship for all of North America, and we will pre-configure all of these. We'll even ride on the install with you if that's what you need. We're here to support you to our best ability. That includes monitoring alerts and all that for you and your customers. And then finally, co-branding, it's a thing. We're constantly running these campaigns where we create assets of short little videos, a still image or a slideshow that you will pump out on social media. Well, we're happy to take your high-res logo, your colors, and make branded versions of those, although we'll change it a little bit because ours target companies such as yourself, MSPs and resellers and UCaaS providers, etc. But we'll tune them to fit your audience with you.
So, Pat, as we start to approach the end of our podcast, I want to bring us back to where we began. And, again, you're offering SD-WAN for the little guy, but you're also offering a little bit more. And, we've covered something there about, you were talking about outages. What's the cost of an outage? What's the real cost of an outage?
This question helps us really illustrate the value of our service through our partners to their customers. And that is, if you're a point of sale retail company, we have won opportunities based on loyalty apps and things like that, being able to get through when there's a regional outage or something like that at a franchise location. But really, for the most part, it's about being able to continue transacting, receiving, payments for services, keeping lines short, all of that, even though there's these outages going on. Certainly for voice over IP resellers and UCaaS providers, white label providers and the like. This is a great product. We're having great success with you guys for the simple reason that no amount of planning can save a customer from an outage. And whether you're 5 phones or 50 phones, with the Rabbit Run device, we're going to fail you over. Now, failover is one thing, but reliable failover is a totally different thing. Doing that without dropping live voice calls, video meetings, that's an art, in my opinion. We've perfected it. And not only that, you never know what you're going to get until you get there, cellular-wise. Like, is it AT&T? Is it T-Mobile? Or is it Verizon? We just don't know sometimes, and that could change. So our product dynamically switches the cellular carriers while you're on your broadband connection to make sure there's something of cellular service waiting to take those calls should you need to fail over, and of course the point of sale as well.
Pat, as we round up our podcast today, make the case for SD-WAN as a service.
Well, the way this market appears to be consuming, and this is the small and micro businesses, applications as a whole, is, let me take you through what I see as the customer journey from startup right, to SD-WAN. You open up a franchise location or you open up a new store, you're picking up your phone and you're finding your applications and you're clicking a button. Next thing you know, your accounting system's coming from the cloud service, your CRM's coming from your hosted VoIP provider or a cloud service. Whatever your business applications are, they come from the cloud. That means we're in a site to cloud world, and everything is on there. We don't want to put all those communication eggs in one basket. We need at least another basket with multiple types of connections in order to keep us going. So for me, rounding this up, you absolutely need to be able to consume this as a service with no upfront equipment fees, and it must be managed and monitored. And together with our partners, we do provide that service to their customers.
So, Pat, thank you very much for joining us today. It's been really interesting. You've made the case, I think, for SD-WAN as a service. And also it's very interesting now that we can, that this service and all the capacities you talked about are available to be sold to the smaller customer. That's a big news item for the MSPs. Where can they learn more?
Oh, please visit us at www.rabbit.run. And thank you for watching.
All right. And there's a little bit of barcode there for everybody watching this on LinkedIn or on TR or Apple Podcasts. So thanks for watching. Pat, again, thanks for being a reader above all, too. So I really appreciate that. And I'm going to look forward to further podcasts on this topic. For now, thanks very much.
You're quite welcome. Bye for now.